Hello and welcome to Daily Records. I am Tommy Burton, and today we are going to be talking about Zuma by Neil Young and Crazy Horse. This was released on November 10th, 1975. This was the seventh studio album from Uncle Neil, released on Reprise Records, and also included the band that Neil Young was synonymous with, Crazy Horse. One of the biggest songs from this album, of course, Crazy Horse, let me go back a little bit. Frank Sanpedro, Billy Talbot, and Ralph Molina on drums, and of course, Neil Young. One of the best known songs from this album is the song Cortez the Killer, which is a very popular Neil Young song. It did make the top 25 on the Billboard charts and received a gold certification. Now, a little background here. Danny Whitten had died from a drug overdose, who was in the band Crazy Horse. And this had a profound effect on Neil and his writing. He went on tour in '73, and this was the band. It featured Billy Talbot, Ralph Molina, and Nils Lofgren, who had also played with Crazy Horse around that time, and Ben Keith. And they got together and recorded Tonight's the Night, the iconic album. He did a stadium tour with Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and kind of bailed on the second Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young album, and so he went on to form a new version of Crazy Horse with Frank Sanpedro, who came in alongside of Billy Talbot and Ralph Molina. And so that's been the lineup of Crazy Horse since then. Still to this day, that is who Crazy Horse is. Now, this was the first album released after the infamous Ditch trilogy, which was Time Fades Away, On the Beach, and Tonight's the Night. Those albums where Neil Young said he felt like he was heading for the middle of the road, so he headed straight for the ditch. Those albums became known as the Ditch trilogy. He wrote a lot of these songs while he was living in Malibu. So it's a little bit lighter than probably some of the heavier stuff from the Ditch trilogy. And he kind of borrowed and took from some other things he was working on. For example, Don't Cry No Tears came from the song I Wonder, which was a song that Neil Young wrote many years before, and you can hear that on the archives. He had also written Cortez the Killer. He proclaimed Cortez the Killer was written while he was in high school, and he was suffering Montezuma's revenge. I don't know how much of that's true. Neil says a lot of stuff, and so sometimes you wonder how much you want to believe and how much you don't. Funny enough, the song kind of meanders along for a while, but it fades out. But there was a power surge, and so there's another verse that Neil had written, but it never was recorded. And so there was this power surge. Everything shut down, so they faded the song out. And Neil said, I never really liked that verse anyway. And so that was it. That kind of became the song. Also, another song, L.A. Girls and Boys, or L.A. Girls and Ocean Boys. There was a line from that song, 'Cause you've been with another man, there you are and here I am. That was actually used in the song Danger Bird from this album. So a lot of different things, combinations of songs came together for this. And Danger Bird really is an example of probably Neil Young sort of coming into his own as a guitarist. A lot of that style really kind of starts to shine through on Zuma. Several producers, mainly a lot of them was Neil and longtime producer David Briggs. There's some extra players on here, notably Tim Drummond playing bass. Also, the track Through My Cells features Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And Steve Stills plays bass on that song. So there's a little bit. a little bit of everything here, but mainly the four-piece Crazy Horse band. And that comprises Zuma, which is a really solid listen. Not the greatest Neil Young album by no means, but a really solid album, and it comes together very nicely. Neil Young and Crazy Horse, Zuma, today's daily record. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's TommyBurton75. In the meantime, I'll see you all again tomorrow with another daily record.